Why is planting an apple seed actually a terrible idea? Is it because their genes degrade over time? Because apples are just apples? Or because you are trying to violently repel a doctor? Let's find out. While repelling a doctor is always a nice bonus, the real reason comes down to genetics. I know, it sounds like an insult to every childhood science fair. You take a seed from that perfect honeycrisp, you stick it in some dirt, and boom, dream tree is grown. It isn't necessarily a terrible idea if your only goal is to grow a tree, but if your goal is to grow an edible, tasty apple with the same crisp bite as the one you ate yesterday, planting a seed is highly inefficient and often disappointing path. Apples are incredibly genetically diverse, a trait known in biology as extreme heterozygosity. What does extreme heterozygosity means? It refers to a high degree of genetic variation within a species which allows the population to successfully adapt to the environmental changes. So when you eat a Fuji or honeycrisp apple and plant its seeds, the resulting tree will not be a Fuji or honeycrisp, as apple blossom require cross-pollination from a completely different variety of apple tree to produce fruit. Every single seed inside an apple is a unique genetic hybrid of mother tree and a random pollen donor. Due to this genetic lottery, seeds are unreliable. That is why botanists and breeders often plant tens of thousands of seeds just to find a single new apple variety worth eating. So, every single named commercial apple variety in existence, such as Granny Smith, Gala, Pink Lady, Honeycrisp, that you consume is a clone. To make a Honeycrisp tree, a grower cut a living branch from an existing Honeycrisp tree and splice it onto a separate root system. This physically merges the two plants, ensuring the top half of the tree produces the exact same genetic fruit as the parent tree. This process is called vegetative propagation. This brings us to the next big question. If every single one of these trees is an exact clone, does that mean they share the exact same weaknesses? If a disease can take down one tree, could it wipe out the entire variety? This presents a massive challenge because relying on standard vegetative propagation is exactly how viruses spread in apple tree. Since commercial apples are cloned, if the parent tree has a virus, the newly grafted tree will inherit that virus perfectly. However, horticulturists literally do force the apple tree to outrun the virus using a fascinating laboratory technique called meristem tip culture, often combined with thermotherapy. At the very tip of every growing apple shoot is a microscopic region of tissue called apical meristem. This is the growth engine of the plant, consisting of rapidly dividing undifferentiated stem cells. This specific zone has two unique properties that allow it to stay virus free even if the rest of the tree is heavily infected. First is cellular speed. These cells in the meristem are divided and expanding so incredibly fast that the virus simply cannot replicate and move quickly enough to keep up. The plant is physically outgrowing the infection at the microscopic level. Second one is lack of vascular highway. Plant viruses primarily travel through the plant vascular system, the xylem and phloem, the plant equivalent of veins. However, right at the meristem tip, the vascular system has not yet formed. Without these highways, the virus struggles to reach the newest cell. To save a prize apple variety that is riddled with viruses, scientists use microscopic and scalpels to perform delicate surgery. They usually cut off the very dome of the apical meristem, often a piece no longer than 0.1 to 0.5 millimeters. To ensure the plant wins the race, scientists often cheat the system using heat. So how do botanists fix this? Before harvesting that tiny meristem tip, they place the infected parent in a hot growth chamber, usually between 35°C to 40°C, for several weeks. This fascinating process is known as plant thermotherapy. Why it needed? Because most plant viruses are highly sensitive to prolonged heat. The high temperature degrades their RNA and severely cripples their ability to replicate. This creates a fascinating race. By slowing the virus down with the heat, while the plant's meristem keep pushing forward, the virus-free zone at the tip of the shoot gets larger. This makes it much easier for scientists to slice off a perfectly clean piece. If growers didn't use meristem tissue culture to clean up their apple varieties, decades of continuous grafting would lead to a massive buildup of latent virus. The result, stunt tree, plummeting fruit yields, and poor quality apples. So the next time you take a bite, remember every single commercial apple you eat is just a clone of one original tree. Thanks for watching. If you want me to keep clearing up misconceptions, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Also, let me know down in the comment what apple varieties are grown in your region. See you in the next one.